Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Equality and the president's falling poll numbers. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. As the world waits for Putin to make his next move, a possible invasion of Ukraine, President Obama's leadership position is becoming more precarious. A new Associated Press poll says 59% of Americans do not like the job the president is doing. And a new Fox News poll breaks it down further. FNC asked registered voters to weigh in on three vital issues. First, health care. 40% approve of the president's performance on that. 57% disapprove. Next, the economy. 39% approve, 58% disapprove. Finally, foreign policy. 37% approve, 53% disapprove. The rest don't know. Putin knows Mr. Obama is his main adversary, and he understands the president's having trouble with the American public. Therefore, Putin is bolder and fresher, taking chances because he senses weakness. Putin also well understands the leaders of Europe are frightened of him. For we Americans, the question now becomes, what's going on? What's going wrong? Why is our nation in decline? Talking Points addressed that question directly on March 6th. The memo is posted on BillO'Reilly.com. But tonight I can give you this. Equality is what is hurting President Obama. The left has seized that word equality to push its progressive agenda. We now have income equality, marriage equality, gender equality, and on and on and on. So instead of solving real problems, the president's living in a world of theory and is shocked when someone like Putin upsets his idealistic vision. The truth is there will never be equality in this world. It's impossible. An opium-laced dream. I will never have physical equality with my fellow Irishman, Shaquille O'Neal. He's bigger and stronger than I am by nature. I will never be as smart as Einstein, as talented as Mozart, or as kind as Mother Teresa. Each human being is born with abilities, but they are not equal abilities. President Obama spent 5 years trying to social engineer this nation and convince the world to act in harmony. In doing so, he has neglected to fix the economy or set up effective deterrents to villains like Putin. As Talking Points stated last night, the only path to social justice is building a strong country that can provide opportunity to its people. And economically, only the private sector can make that happen. The government cannot. Mr. Obama has had 5 years to rebuild this nation from the economic collapse of 2008. He has not done so. And indeed, we have become a weaker country on his watch. Most Americans know that, and so do all the villains of the world. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, the Russian military threat. Joining us from Washington, Fox News strategic analyst Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters. So what does 80,000 Russian troops on the Ukraine border say to you, Colonel?
It says to me that Ukraine is screwed one way or the other. As the West folded its cards in the face of Putin's aggression, Putin's just upped his bid. And of those 80 to 100,000 troops, Bill, about half of them, 40 to 50,000, are relatively elite. They're the shock troops that would go in first echelon. The rest would follow on as the second echelon occupation forces. And if I stress if, because we don't know for certain, Putin's playing his cards close to his chest, if they go in, you're going to see quite a spectacle. I mean, the Russians are good at mounting a spectacle, especially when there's no serious opposition. So you'd see attacks on multiple axes, basically multiple arrows going into eastern Ukraine, supporting attack from Crimea, heliborne assaults on bridges and key intersections. And just to rub it in and show off, he might even drop in airborne forces. And basically, you think of it like this. His military would wrap their arms around eastern Ukraine, and we would and could do nothing about it. Putin has our measure. He certainly has Obama's measure. And weakness encourages aggression. I don't know why people can't figure this out.
Now, I don't think there's going to be any real meaningful resistance from Ukraine. I mean, they can't stand up to the Russian blitzkrieg if they come across the border. The Ukrainian army can't do that. So I don't even know if there's going to be any fighting. It might be another Crimea situation.
No, there will be some fighting. Now, the Ukrainians are terribly outnumbered and outclassed. And President Putin's bought man, Viktor Yanukovych, the leader who was just thrown out by the Maidan freedom demonstrators, he purposely weakened, starved Ukraine's military of assets. But the Ukrainians are brave. No, they cannot defeat the Russians, but at least some of them will stand up and fight, and the Russians will figure that out. And so, again, back to the, this is, you can lay it out so clearly that if Putin goes in, it's going to be very fast, primarily wheeled armored vehicles to make at least 100 kilometers or more the first day, seize big cities by Donetsk, Kharkiv. Tanks will only be involved partly for show and partly where they think the Ukrainians might put up a staunch resistance. But this is going to be a real blitzkrieg that you see on camera. But just by the way, the reason that we really know the Russians are serious is that they're stockpiling spare parts, rations, fuel right on the border. You don't need those for exercises. And especially the spare parts are a big tip-off because the Russian maintenance is terrible, and they know if they launch this blitzkrieg, they'll have a lot of breakdowns. The Russian cameramen won't take those pictures.
You think that they're gonna 100 kilometers into the Ukraine, stop, consolidate?
No. That's the first day.
Right. Well, how far into they're not going to go to Kiev? You don't think they're going to try to seize the whole country, do you?
I don't think they will go to Kiev. I think those military axes of advance, the arms pushing in, will try to hug the eastern third of Ukraine. I think that's about what he wants.
They'll probably try to peel the Russian-speaking part of Ukraine off.
Right.
And
although
then,
the Russian speakers are still a minority there.
Right. Yeah. But then as further west you go, then you don't have that, and then you would have more resistance. Now, you also believe there's an Edward Snowden. He is the guy who stole all the NSA secrets and is now in Russia. You think there's a component here as well, right?
Look, if Vladimir Putin has had one truly critical ally in all this, it's Ed Snowden. Whether or not Snowden intended that, the secrets about how our intelligence system works that he handed to Putin have allowed Putin to evade our communications. Now, our satellites, we can see the troop buildup. We can see the camouflage netting going up over the fuel supplies. But it's a lot harder to listen in and get the intentions of what he wants to do. So, we know he has the capability to go in on a few hours' notice. Will it be this weekend? Will it be in weeks? Will he decide not to?
Okay.
That we don't know. We know what he can do, not what he will do.
I'm a little confused about the Snowden thing. You're saying that Snowden, all right, took the secrets, wound up in Russia, and gave secrets to Putin himself and said, look, this is how the USA monitors you, and therefore the Russians have been able to jam that or change that. Is that what you're saying here?
I don't believe he ever got near Vladimir Putin personally.
No, but his guys.
But look, there's no way Edward Snowden is in Russia, an asylum, and the FSB, the modern KGB, doesn't have all the secrets. And among what he took, and we're still sorting it out, he took a great deal about how we eavesdrop, not on American citizens, but on
our overseas capabilities.
And so now that Putin knows how we do that, he can evade it, and it really cripples us.
I think that's a good bet. All right, Colonel, thanks very much. Next on The Rundown.